Hi, and welcome to English-Fabule. Are you learning English? Great. Let's learn English with a very interesting story. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. Let's get started.
Welcome to the story of Japan. It is a country known for its unique history and culture. From ancient times to today, Japan has always found ways to grow and change. This book will take you on an exciting journey to understand this special nation. In August 1945, people across Japan listened to their emperor's voice on the radio. It was the first time most Japanese had heard him speak. His words announced Japan's surrender. This moment marked the end of a long, powerful history for the emperor. It ended an imperial rule that had lasted for 1,000 years. This event changed Japan's future forever. This book will explore a big question. How did Japan become what it is today? How did a small group of islands, far from other lands, grow from early hunter-gatherers into a strong nation? How did it become an empire that dared to fight big world powers? Our journey will start a very long time ago, about 30,000 years in the past. We will look at the first human footsteps in the Paleolithic era, also known as the Old Stone Age. We will follow Japan's story through many important times, seeing how it developed from small groups of people into a complex society. We will learn about the rise of powerful leaders, the strength of its warriors, and the beauty of its arts. This path will lead us through periods of great change and challenge, all the way to the high-tech, modern country we know today. It is a nation that holds its old traditions close, even with new technology all around. But before the bright neon lights of Tokyo and the sharp steel of the samurai, there was a very old and mysterious culture. These early people lived on the islands long ago. They left behind only special clay pots with rope-like marks on them, called cord-marked clay. These objects raise many questions for us. What was this early Japan really like? 2. The first people. Long ago, the first people came to Japan. These early people were hunter-gatherers. This means they found their food by hunting animals and gathering plants. They lived during a time called the Jomon period, which started around 13,000 BC and lasted until about 1000 BC. During this long period, the Jomon people became quite settled in their communities and developed complex ways of life. The Jomon people made very special pottery. It is considered some of the oldest pottery in the world. They crafted pots and bowls by coiling clay and then marked the wet surface with cords, giving the pottery its cord-marked name. These creations were baked in open fires. The Jomon people also created strange clay figures called dogu. These small figures often look like people or animals with big eyes. Archaeologists are still not sure what these unique figures were for, which makes them a mystery from this ancient time. Around 1000 to 800 BC, new groups of people arrived in Japan. These were the Yayoi people, who came from the Asian mainland. They brought important new ideas and tools that changed life in Japan forever. The Yayoi introduced farming, especially rice cultivation, which allowed people to grow a steady supply of food. They also brought knowledge of metals, making tools and weapons from iron and bronze. These new technologies, like weaving and silk production, new ways of building with wood, and even glass making, began to spread across the islands. Because of the new farming methods, the Yayoi population grew much faster than the Jomon people. They had more food and could support larger communities. The Yayoi people slowly spread, taking the place of the native Jomon hunter-gatherer culture. This change was a big turning point for Japan. Over time, the Yayoi tribes joined together, forming larger groups and eventually the first small kingdoms. Chinese historical records from the 1st century AD mention many small states in Japan. One important leader was a woman named Queen Himiko. She ruled the powerful kingdom of Yamatai around 240 AD. Stories describe her as a queen who used magic and communicated with spirits. Later, starting around 250 AD, powerful leaders began to build very large burial mounds. These huge tombs are known as kofun, which means old mounds. Many were shaped like a keyhole, a unique design in the world. For example, the Daisen-ryo kofun was a massive burial mound that needed huge teams of workers many years to complete. These impressive kofun showed that powerful rulers had emerged. They controlled large areas and brought different parts of Japan together. This marked the rise of a strong, unified ruling class centered in the Yamato region. These early leaders laid the groundwork for the emperors who would come later. The first emperors. After the early kingdoms, Japan entered a period of great transformation. Around the middle of the 6th century, Buddhism arrived from the Korean kingdom of Baekje. This new religion began to live alongside Japan's native Shinto beliefs, often mixing together. An important leader, Prince Shotoku, wanted to make Japan a stronger, more centralized country, like the powerful empire of China. He wrote 17 rules for leaders and citizens, guiding their behavior. He also tried to create a system where people earned government jobs based on skill, not just their family name. He even sent messages to China, calling Japan the land of the rising sun, showing a new sense of national identity. The Soga clan held much power behind the scenes during this time, but they were overthrown in 645. New leaders then began the Taika reforms. These changes aimed to give the emperor more direct power and create a central government following China's example. The government claimed all land and then divided it among farmers, also setting up new taxes. These reforms established a Chinese-style system of government called the Ritsuryo state. In 710, a grand new capital, Heizhou-kyo, was built in Nara, modeled directly on China's capital city. During this Nara period, Japan's first 2 official books were written, telling legendary stories of the imperial family. In 794, the capital moved again to Heian-kyo, which is modern Kyoto, starting the Heian period. This era became famous for its beauty and culture. However, political power slowly moved from the emperor to the powerful Fujiwara clan. This family became very clever at controlling the emperors by making sure their daughters married into the imperial family. Then their male relatives could serve as powerful regents for young emperors, or even for adult emperors. Fujiwara no Michinaga was one of the most powerful of these regents, marrying 4 of his daughters to emperors and ruling Japan from behind the scenes for many years. The Heian period was a golden age for Japanese art and literature. Court life in Kyoto was a delicate dance of poetry, beautiful writing, and elegant ceremonies. Famous works like The Tale of Genji were created, showing a world of refined manners and hidden power games. While the nobles enjoyed this life of art and pleasure in the capital, they began to neglect the rest of the country. Away from the elegant court, the central government lost control of much of the land and its taxes. This meant they could no longer pay for a national army. As a result, wealthy landowners began to build their own private armies of skilled warriors, known as samurai, quietly preparing for a time when beauty and poetry would give way to swords and battle. 4. The strong warriors. The Heian period, a time of elegant court life, came to an end in 1185. Power in Japan began to shift from the nobles in Kyoto to a new class of strong warriors called samurai. Two very important samurai families, the Taira and the Minamoto, fought a brutal war. This was the Genpei War, from 1180 to 1185. In the end, Minamoto no Yoritomo and his clan won, defeating the Taira. After this victory, Yoritomo became Japan's most powerful man. He started a new military government, setting up its center in Kamakura, away from the old capital. In 1192, the emperor gave Yoritomo the special title of shogun. This made him the supreme military commander of Japan. This new government, the Kamakura shogunate, began a long period of warrior rule. The emperor stayed in Kyoto, but his political power was now mostly symbolic. Japan then faced a huge danger from outside. The powerful Mongol Empire, led by Kublai Khan, tried to invade Japan twice. The first was in 1274, and the second in 1281. Kublai Khan sent many ships and soldiers. Japanese samurai fought hard, but the Mongols had more men and better weapons. Luckily, on both times, terrible storms hit the sea. These typhoons destroyed many Mongol ships and soldiers. The Japanese called these storms kamikaze, meaning divine wind. They believed these winds saved their country from invasion. However, this great victory created problems for the Kamakura shogunate. Defending Japan from the Mongols was very expensive. The government spent all its money and could not reward the samurai for their efforts. Because of this, many samurai became unhappy. They lost trust in their leaders. This anger among the warriors made the shogunate weaker. Finally, in 1333, the Kamakura shogunate ended. Emperor Go-Daigo tried to get back full power for the court. A general, Ashikaga Takauji, was sent to stop Go-Daigo, but he joined the emperor and helped overthrow the shogunate. Takauji later became shogun himself, starting the Muromachi period. During this time, the shogun's power in Kyoto grew weak. Regional warlords called daimyo became very strong. They controlled their own lands and armies and often ignored the shogun. This led to much disorder and many local wars across Japan. 5. Japan becomes one. After the Muromachi period, Japan entered a long age of intense fighting called the Sengoku period, or Warring States period. This era of endless civil war began around the year 1467. The central government and the shogun lost most of their power. Instead, many regional warlords, known as daimyo, fought fiercely against each other. They wanted to control more and more land, turning Japan into many small, independent states. This was a very dangerous and unstable time for everyone. Ninjas, who were skilled secret spies and assassins, moved in the shadows. Samurai fought bravely for their lords. Even common farmers and powerful warrior monks raised their own armies to protect their homes and beliefs. In the middle of this widespread chaos, something completely new arrived in Japan. In the year 1543, Portuguese traders came by ship, landing on the island of Tanegashima. They were the first Europeans to set foot in Japan. These traders brought many new goods, but their most important gift was the musket, a type of handheld gun. These firearms completely changed how battles were fought, making older ways of fighting less powerful. Japanese armies quickly learned to use muskets and began to equip their soldiers with them. The Portuguese also brought Christianity, and this new religion soon gained many followers across Japan. Out of this long and bloody war, 3 exceptionally strong leaders appeared. They are now known as the 3 unifiers of Japan, because they finally brought the country back together. The first was Oda Nobunaga, a ruthless and brilliant warlord from a small province. He was very smart in battle strategy and used the new firearms with great skill. Nobunaga began the difficult task of unifying Japan, conquering many rival daimyo. But in 1582, he was betrayed and killed by one of his own generals. His successor was Toyotomi Hideyoshi, who had risen from a humble background to become Nobunaga's general. Hideyoshi was ambitious and clever, and he completed Nobunaga's work, bringing almost all of Japan under his control. After Hideyoshi died in 1598, another powerful leader, Tokugawa Ieyasu, stepped forward. Ieyasu was known for his patience and smart thinking. The final and most important battle for control of Japan happened in the year 1600. It was the massive Battle of Sekigahara. This was a winner-take-all struggle, where about 160,000 soldiers faced each other. Tokugawa Ieyasu led one large army, while the other side was made up of Hideyoshi's remaining supporters and other daimyo. Ieyasu won a clear victory. This battle finally ended the long period of civil war. It paved the way for the Tokugawa family to rule Japan for the next 268 years, starting a long time of peace and stability for Japan. After a time of many wars, Japan found a long period of peace. In 1603, Tokugawa Ieyasu became the shogun, or military ruler, and established his government in Edo, which is known today as Tokyo. This new government, the Tokugawa shogunate, created a stable society that lasted for over 250 years. They set up a very strict social system. People were placed into 4 main groups: the samurai warriors, farmers, craftspeople, and merchants. The samurai were at the top, ensuring order and serving as administrators. The emperor continued to live in Kyoto, but his role was mostly ceremonial, holding no real political power. The shogun and his advisors made all the important decisions for the country. To maintain this peace and control, the shogunate introduced a policy called sakoku, which means closed country. Japan almost completely cut itself off from the rest of the world. Foreign travel was forbidden for Japanese citizens, and those who left could not return. Christianity, seen as a possible threat to the shogun's power, was banned. Trade with foreign countries was severely limited to only a few nations. Only Dutch traders were allowed on a small artificial island named Dejima in Nagasaki, and limited trade continued with China and Korea. Many foreign books were also not allowed into Japan. This long era without major wars brought unique challenges, especially for the samurai class, who were traditionally trained for battle. Many samurai became bureaucrats, teachers, or took up other roles in the peaceful government. During this time, Japan's population grew, reaching around 30 million people, thanks to better farming methods. Inside Japan, cities grew larger, and trade between different regions became easier because of improved roads and a common currency. This led to more people learning to read and write, with private schools becoming common. It was a time of internal growth and change, even though the country was isolated from outside influences. This long peace also led to a rich cultural flourishing, especially among the growing merchant class. This era saw the rise of the floating world, ukiyo, a term for places of entertainment and culture. Kabuki theater became very popular, with its dramatic plays, elaborate costumes, and energetic performances. Geisha, skilled female entertainers, offered conversation, music, and dance. Haiku, a short form of poetry, was perfected by masters like Matsuo Basho, who captured moments of nature and life in just a few words. Colorful woodblock prints, known as ukiyo-e, showed beautiful landscapes, famous actors, and scenes from daily life, enjoyed by many ordinary people. However, this peaceful isolation could not last forever. The outside world was changing quickly. In 1853, a fleet of large black-hulled American warships appeared off the coast of Edo. These black ships, led by Commodore Matthew C. Perry, carried powerful cannons. Perry delivered a letter from the U.S. President demanding that Japan open its ports for trade and allow American ships to resupply. The Tokugawa shogunate had no modern navy or weapons to resist such a powerful fleet. Japan's long, quiet peace was about to be shattered, forcing the country to face the modern world. A new Japan. After a long period of peace, Japan changed very fast. In the middle 1800s, outside ships came to Japan and ended its closed-door policy. This led to big changes. The old government, the shogunate, fell. The emperor returned to power in an event called the Meiji Restoration in 1868. Japan quickly moved from an old farming society to a modern industrial country. Leaders wanted Japan to be as strong as Western nations. They built railways and telegraph lines. They created a new education system and made factories. Japan quickly adopted Western ways, like new clothes and calendars, becoming a powerful nation in a single generation. Japan also began to look for its own colonies, just like Western countries. It took control of islands nearby. Then Japan fought and won wars against China in 1894 and Russia in 1904. These victories showed the world that Japan was a powerful military power in Asia. Slowly, the military leaders in Japan became more powerful than the civilian government. They started making big decisions for the country, often ignoring elected leaders. This push for more land and power was called imperialism. This path led Japan into a sad time. In the 1930s, the Japanese military invaded Manchuria and then started a long war with China. Japan wanted to create a large area of influence in Asia. The United States did not agree with Japan's actions and stopped selling oil and other important goods to Japan. To get these resources, Japan formed an alliance with Germany and Italy. In December 1941, Japan launched a surprise attack on American ships at Pearl Harbor in Hawaii. This started the Pacific War, pulling the United States into World War II. Japanese forces won many battles at first, taking control of many lands in Asia. However, the war became very hard. Life for people in Japan became tough, with little food and many cities bombed by Allied forces. The war took a terrible turn. In 1945, the United States dropped an atomic bomb on the city of Hiroshima and then another on Nagasaki. These bombs caused huge destruction and many deaths. Faced with this horror and a Soviet invasion, Emperor Hirohito announced Japan's surrender on the radio in August 1945. This event ended World War II for Japan. After the surrender, the United States, led by General Douglas MacArthur, occupied Japan. This occupation brought big changes, like a new constitution that created a democratic government and aimed to prevent Japan from ever going to war again. This marked the start of a completely new Japan. 8. The modern country. After the Second World War, Japan started to rebuild and entered a period called the economic miracle. From 1945 to 1952, the country saw big changes under the Allied occupation. General Douglas MacArthur from the U.S. helped Japan become a democratic nation. Prime Minister Shigeru Yoshida then led the country. His plan, the Yoshida Doctrine, focused on building a strong economy. Japan formed a close friendship with the United States and put its efforts into business growth, not military spending. Right after the war, the economy was weak, but a plan in 1949 stopped high prices. The Korean War, 1950 to 1953, also boosted Japanese businesses by increasing orders for goods. In 1949, the government created MITI to help companies grow. MITI worked with industries to make more products and export them. By 1955, Japan's economy was larger than before the war. By 1968, it became the world's second-largest capitalist economy. Japan produced many cars and electronics, and people enjoyed better lives with more consumer goods. Japan also began to share its culture worldwide. The 1964 Tokyo Olympics marked Japan's return to the international stage and showed its modern progress. Japanese pop culture soon became popular globally, especially with young people. This included monster movies like kaiju, animated films called anime, comic books known as manga, and video games. Famous Japanese writers also gained readers in other countries, sharing their unique stories. However, the late 1980s brought new challenges. In 1989, Japan's booming economy faced a big problem. Stock and land prices fell quickly, leading to what is called Japan's lost decade due to slow economic growth. Another major concern was a shrinking population, as fewer children were born each year. In the 21st century, Japan also suffered terrible natural disasters. On March 11, 2011, a powerful earthquake hit the Toho region, causing a huge tsunami. This damaged the Fukushima nuclear power plant, leading to a meltdown. Almost 26,000 people died or went missing. Despite these difficulties, Japan has shown great resilience and an amazing ability to recover. It successfully blends its long, ancient traditions with cutting-edge technology and modern ideas. This makes Japan a truly unique and important country today. What aspect of Japan's journey to a modern country do you find most inspiring?
Hey there! Just a second before you go. If you learned something new today, please give this video a like, write your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel. It only takes a second, and it really, really helps to create even better English videos for you. Your support means the world. Thank you.